Hey guys, it's Mark Poole here. I know I said I was going to review episodes of season 4 of The Flash, but I thought it'd just be better if I talked about the season and how I felt about it. Considering that I've been seeing so many people talk about how it sucks, how it's, real bad and terrible. Me personally, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I was entirely indifferent to it. It was just lackluster. It wasn't all that special. It was just meh. It was kind of like a runner, running a race. He's a really good runner, and then he just gets beat up like bad, like really, really bad in season 3. And in season 4 is basically rehabilitation. So the Thinker was a nice way to go. It was a nice way to go about it. And considering that everybody just got tired of the whole speedster villain thing, me personally, I wouldn't have done, Savitar or Zoom, but that's just me. Um, season 4 just felt kind of goofy, not really goofy, just kind of silly in some episodes. Some episodes were really good, but others were just like, what were you thinking? I mean, I like Ralph, but that one was just, and this one, I mean, it was like a mixture of girl power, feminism, and I don't know what the hell I want to do with this character. I mean, first of all, I knew they were going to do this because they have no idea what they want to do with her character. But come on, as soon as she gets her powers, she goes to a burning building and no training whatsoever. And what was Caitlyn doing, hypering her with that Go Girl crap? No, you do that with Jesse Quick, the genius, not with normal Iris West. Okay, it was stupid. But sorry for the rant. Anyway, I can't talk about season 4 until I talk about season 3. Because season 3 is where it all goes wrong, where the train just derails. And my number one problem with season 3 is Wally. Okay? I was so happy that, Wally was coming onto the show. I was ecstatic as hell because I wanted to see their interpretation of Wally, the character I've seen on Teen Titans, on Justice League. Before I even knew about Barry, I knew about Wally. And I was disappointed. When he first gets there, he started problems with pretty much everyone, like Joe for not magically being able to find him, even though he didn't know he existed, and his mom had drug problems, so there was no reason to do that. Not to mention, he showed up at his doorstep. He started problems a little bit with Iris, then Barry Allen, and that was just pure jealousy right there. And I don't have a problem with the actor that portrays, Wally. It's just that there are actors that I'm familiar with that I think would, like me personally, that I think would be able to, portray him more in an accurate depiction, of the character. The fun, energetic, speed loving, skirt chasing, somewhat snarky speedster. Uh, I understand what they were trying to do with his character. It's just that I think that he could have been a better character if he internalized everything, like his mom dying, him feeling alienated when he sees Joe and Barry and Iris laughing about something in the past that he wasn't a part of. And then, eventually when he learns about Barry's secret, they get into a fight or something like that. And Barry's able to understand where, Wally's coming from, and Wally will be able to understand where Barry's coming from and have an actual bond there. Another problem I had with season 3 obviously was Savitar. I gotta pull Captain Hindsight on this one. What Savitar should have been was just some speedster villain that Future Barry had to fight and threw into the Speed Force. This was not a great idea. Future Barry fights Savitar, throws him into the Speed Force. Because Barry's a little bit more zen with the Speed Force now, has a little bit more practice, but little did he know he was basically sending Savitar to hell, considering Savitar has committed numerous atrocities throughout his time as a speedster. So while stuck in the Speed Force, Barry decides to go back in time and save his mom. That causes a disruption in the Speed Force, and Savitar is able to see Wally West as a speedster. He didn't have any powers in his timeline. So he comes up with the idea to give Wally powers so he can take his place. Okay, so putting that aside for right now, let's get to the part where Savitar is about to kill Iris, and he's giving that whole speech like, you don't think I have a plan for this when the bazooka gun doesn't work. Actually, Barry does have a plan B. It involves Jesse, Jay, and Wally, who is injured, but not that badly. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, Savitar grabs the bazooka gun and zips off. Jesse goes after him. Now, you remember that time where Savitar said he had plans for Jesse Quick? I think this was the perfect moment to show what his plans were. Jessie was in a coma like Barry when she first got her powers, and it took Barry to wake her up. So maybe a piece of Barry's power is in Jessie. So maybe he's trying to drain that. But before he's able to complete his plan, Barry, Wally, and Jay show up and they have an amazing fight. Backed up against a corner, Savitar decides to pull a freezer move and kill everybody. By aggravating the Speed Force, making it realize that no one's in the prison, he starts up a lightning storm. Out of options and no clear way to defeat Savitar, Barry suggests that they run him deep into the Speed Force. Jay and Wally are hesitant at first, but they're kind of out of time and they don't really have a whole lot of options, so they go for it. So they push him into the Speed Force. Wally grabs the left arm, Jay grabs the right arm, and Barry's in the middle. The main one pushing Savitar into the Speed Force. Wally and Jay are just there to keep him from struggling. While approaching the center of the Speed Force, Jay starts to slow down because he can't really keep up with their speed. But before he leaves, he cuts off one of Savitar's blades. Wally, a few moments later, the same thing happens to him because of his injuries. Cuts off one of Savitar's blades. Barry actually pushes him out because he reluctantly leaves, and then it's just Barry and Savitar. The main reason why Savitar wasn't moving is because he was turning into pure energy, and Barry soon does the same. So Barry and Savitar just slowly start to disappear, and thus we have the end of season 3. Okay, season 4. Basically, Barry has been gone for about 7 months. He comes out of the Speed Force very randomly, but he is perfectly fine until he, starts writing down symbols. Then he starts having, blackouts and waking up in locations and not remembering how he got there. And then dealing with just a mediocre villain, he blacks out and practically beats this guy, half to death. Barry goes back to Star Labs so they can run some tests on him. Then he turns into Black Flash. Thunder starts to form and he involuntarily attacks Wally while he was trying to help. Not wanting to kill Wally, Barry runs back into the Speed Force hoping that it will cure him, does his whole running while yelling thing and ends up in an all white room wearing normal clothes and the Speed Force sitting in one of the chairs with somewhat of a concerned look on his face, and it could either be Caitlin or Joe. Barry gathers himself and walks over to the Speed Force kind of calm because now he remembers everything. Well, almost everything. See, it wanted him to believe that the Speed Force existed for a long time, but it only existed after the particle accelerator exploded. And the more Barry ran, the more he used his powers, the stronger it got. It only existed after Barry became the fastest man alive. And just as soon as he said that, Eobard Thawne walks in holding a lightning staff, and he says something like, "Now, Barry, with all the mistakes that you've made, and all the speedsters you've faced that are way faster than you, don't you cringe a little bit when you say that?" So in season 4, Reverse Flash is trying to erase Barry Allen from existence without hurting his own. And there might be some different Speed Force energy involved. But wait, you can't have this many episodes with just that. You remember that bank robber that Barry had beat up when he was the Black Flash? Yeah, well, actually, he's a member of the new Meta-Human Rogues. I just feel like they didn't really handle the rogues well. I mean, they're good separately, but they're better together. So I guess I just killed, two birds with one stone. One better ending for season 3, probably a better villain for season 4. Barry has a better understanding of the Speed Force. HR is not dead. The bus metas aren't dead. The bad ones maybe can be implemented into the new rogues, and the good ones maybe they can help out with a future season. I'm still waiting on that to happen with this one. Cisco says yes to working with Gypsy, and he actually, does his own thing starting in season 5, also working with Team Flash, and as a bonus, working as a breacher, he also gets paid.
and a better Wally. You're probably thinking, why the big rant? What was the point? Well, simple. I wanted Wally done right, and he wasn't. And two, story wise, Barry shouldn't have came back as fast as he did. I would have enjoyed to see a good version of Wally, do his thing for an episode or two. Just keep in mind the show says the Flash, not the Adventures of Barry Allen. That could be anybody, right? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. It's completely up to you. Peace.